You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Cheers to this. This
Cheers
is something
to
new that
we-
we haven't tried.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice taste.
Good. That's peaty.
I wasn't sure what I was to expect, but it's just, for you, it's a light amount of peat.
yes.
I like heavy, but that's nice.
Yeah.
I was almost, because it was very light coming in.
Yeah.
And I felt, it traveled. The
Yes.
taste traveled there
Yes.
after,
It was
right?
like,
Right, and then so it started out like weak, and I was like, "Oh God, am I drinking water?" And then I get the smoke, I get the taste on the back of the tongue.
yes.
I'm providing good feedback on the Scotch. You like that? You like
Bravo,
that, Jura?
my
I
friend.
hope you are
Oh.
listening. We are from the Isle of
We
Jura.
have Jura, just off of Scotland.
We are providing good feedback. on
Good
this guy.
feedback.
This
Yeah,
is
that was thorough and detailed
wait.
feedback.
The color is a nice soft caramel.
Yes.
I
Even
appreciate it.
Cheers. Salud.
Cheers, my friend.
Yeah, let's have another sip
Okay.
and offer more feedback. Oh, that's really nice.
All right. Wow. I think everybody's kind of like grossed out now, and they're like, "Stop, guys."
What is this ASMR Scotch, guys? They switch platforms here. They pivot.
Get that sound of.
This is the sound of us getting hammered now. The hammered designers.
Hammer design. Well, this is really good Scotch. I have to admit.
It's
Okay.
really nice. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Tough to stop.
Yeah, no.
You know.
Damn it.
It's like holy crap.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, that was good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
you can tell your chiropractor that's in the win column.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. This was a good one. This was a
I'm
good
going to
one.
get some of that.
I
This
appreciate
is
that.
Really good.
Price point was actually pretty good too.
Is it?
Yeah. It was.
good.
It was like under $100.
Oh, nice.
$75.
Oh,
I know
that's
it's
great.
cheap. I know. Cool. Wow. You know, that kind of makes all the crap from the week go away, because it's been
Yes.
wow. It kind of feels nice recording later on in the week.
It does.
Because I feel we have more
Yeah.
that we can reflect on.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know?
totally, right? Yeah, and you feel like you've been run the gauntlet for this for 4 days straight. And you're just like, oh, jeez.
Gee,
You just feel
it's
a little
so
more
fresh.
Yeah, more fine-tuned, I guess.
Jeez, this episode that we're talking about today has even got more actual, like client situation shit that happened within the past week.
Yes.
And I'm just like, wow.
Which is awesome. Like,
is it? Because based on this topic, I don't know if it's awesome.
yeah, I guess you're right. It's awesome in a backhanded kind of way. It's
Like-
awesome for podcast talk, but not awesome to live.
This has been the fucking craziest feedback week I think we've ever had. I mean, okay, not to mention, first off,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to address that fucking UX student kid who decided he was a co-op kid working for a customer. He's just a co-op first year.
Yeah.
And boy, did he have feedback for us based on their web design from years ago that they built and
Yeah.
never gave us more money to do anything with. But boy, did he provide great feedback.
Great feedback. That is my favorite. Not to jump ahead, but it's like last year there was an intern at one of our major major,
right.
and that kid was the fucking bane of my existence. All he did was like, move this over an inch, move this over. It's just like stupid, dumb feedback.
Dude.
It's all
Yeah.
what he felt was good.
Right.
There's no science behind it.
Nope, nothing.
Yeah, no
Thanks for your personal
experience.
opinion, champ.
That's exactly what it
This
is.
kid was using all these terms and thought he was getting all technical. And I'm like, dude, that works. However, you have no idea what the backstory is. You're not talking, you have no idea what the brand is. You're wanting changes that go so outside the brand. We might as well start over from scratch. But thanks. I appreciate it. And it's like, and again, how do I take that with like wanting to strangle some? I had somebody else who gave who sent us feedback, and it was like a mile-long page of feedback. So we sent something out, right, round 2 to like 5 people. Okay. Somebody replied, but only with 2 of them on there.
Oh.
And they replied, right? Bump, 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 and we're talking, this reply was like a mile long, and
Yeah.
it was the most outrageous, crazy stuff. I don't even understand half the shit that was said in this thing. And it was like, wow, how do you take that? But like 2 hours later, one of the original people who weren't CC'd on the
Wasn't
reply,
CC'd on the reply.
they're like, hey, this looks great. I don't see anything wrong with it and why it should run. And then quickly, all of a sudden the lead was like, oh, I'm sorry. We just didn't want to bother you with the feedback. So we've already fed back. So stand down on this one. And it was just like, wow, what just happened there?
And that person who was not copied on it was the expert in the field, right?
Right. The expert
The
on the
expert
field.
on this. And she said it was okay.
She said it was good. But everybody else was just like, oh, no, not everybody else. But the person who was taking the lead.
Yes.
And it's just like, what do you like?
See, and I maintain that person has a made-up position too.
It is a made-up position.
It is. I know.
Dude.
I know.
Dude.
What is it? The liaison between the client and the sales team.
Just so you know, we will be doing an episode on titles because again, it is so fucking ridiculous and it's a thing right now.
Yes.
I think this one warrants a conversation.
I love it.
However, today's is about feedback.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't figured it out, we often get people asking about feedback, how to handle it, what to do, and so we got a whole podcast on the lovely art of feedback. We're going to talk about why we need feedback, and again, you think it's pretty straightforward, but it's not. What we do when we get bad feedback, types of bad feedback, tips for handling feedback, and then of course software for feedback. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. This is the outline. I forgot to mention something. The craziest thing though, above anything else that happened this week was when a customer asked us to put fine print on a billboard.
You just see that driving by 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
may
shit,
include,
shit.
type of text may include.
What
the hell?
Have never in my life. I can appreciate it, but I don't think a billboard is the right place for feedback.
Somebody has lost the point with that. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's not real.
That was real, and that wasn't feedback as so much as just like a ridiculous request. But amidst all the other feedback they gave us, this was inside of that. Please put fine print on the billboard. Wow.
Okay, I've heard it all. I think.
I don't know how much crazier it's gonna get from this, man.
Jeez Louise. Wow.
Oh, geez.
That's funny.
So this is going to be a fun topic.
Yeah,
because I mean, I think everybody experiences this shit, right?
Totally. Now it explains why you were listening to Jimi Hendrix in your office. All the feedback.
Yeah, right. It's so true.
Yes,
and I couldn't.
That makes sense now.
You're right. It's been so ingrained in me this week. This week feels unlike anything ever. It's unbelievable.
that is some bizarre stuff already.
So I don't mind feedback, when you've got a relationship with people, because you know what, generally feedback's fine, those feedback revisions. Yeah. It's always that initial feedback when you're, feeling out customers, they're feeling you out, you're trying to get that place, that middle ground. Yeah. That's always the funky stuff. And again, the people we deal with on a regular basis, there's no feedback.
There's no feedback.
Right? It's minor stuff. Hey, this should be spelt like this. Can you add you know what I mean? They might get some technical parts.
Yes.
But you've already overcome that hurdle.
Exactly. Yeah, you've passed that point. You know what it is that they're generally after. Yeah. Right? I find the biggest culprits are the people who are new, because they don't have any kind of footing as to where they are. Do you remember the one client that we just ditched? Yeah. When that marketing, or that, I think it was the marketing person, came in halfway through the website.
Oh
design,
my God!
Right?
Yes.
Do you remember how awful that was?
That was because she wasn't privy to anything
she
before.
Had no idea what happened before, and was just moving on. And you're at the high level with this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so, we were already past that. This is a build stage.
I meant like she's in the high level. Oh yes, like the marketing.
She was like a director or whatever. She wasn't like a newbie.
Big position, newbie, right in the middle of this fucked up client, basically, right? Remember how bad they were. Oh. But I think that's the problem, is like you've got something to prove. Right? Well, you got to put your stamp all over stuff, but you don't know what you're doing.
In this case,
you're brand new in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, feedback is it's a hurdle to overcome. And you're either going to do one or two things. Either you're going to fly over it, get past it, and keep on running, or you're going to crash like a motherfucker. Yeah. And it's the end of that relationship, right? Right. That's what I mean. Like, feedback's important because, again, it's not especially for the new customers, because it's not just about that one job you're working on.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what people
Right.
keep, like, I mean, everybody hounds on how bad feedback is with that one, right? But, long term, it's not the case. Otherwise, you'd never stick with them and they wouldn't stick with you, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, number one, the reason why you have feedback is to make changes on a job, obviously, right?
Yep.
It provides the opportunity for designers to make changes to the design, right? And me personally, though, like, that's the basic, this is what feedback is.
Yeah.
Fine. That's the definition. I always think of it, though, on the bigger picture. And I think that's what I'm relating to it here, right? Like, number two, in my opinion, feedback is about, like, meeting the client's expectations. Okay. The clients are like brand new clients. You're kind of feeling each other out. And all of a sudden it's like they have a certain level of, whether it's quality, expectation, history that they're used to, right? And that first level of feedback is just kind of like their way of nudging you and saying, okay, this is what you're capable of.
Yep.
This is what I'm expecting from you. Okay.
Yeah.
So often, it can be scary as fuck, right? Especially if it's someone new coming into the role, because now all of a sudden you've got to, amp up, elevate yourself to that level.
Right.
So that's another, but two other points why I think, feedback is so important, right? In this same situation is, of course, it helps you build a relationship with the brand.
Right.
Okay. Because again, initially you're going to fumble.
Yeah.
You're not going to know how far you can take a brand. Maybe the brand doesn't even have some, distinct, guidelines, something in concrete that you have to follow.
Right.
So getting feedback is important in the sense of building that, relationship with the brand itself.
Yeah.
But even more importantly, getting feedback helps build that relationship with that specific person.
Right.
And this is why it's important, because if you fumble, that person's never going to want to work with you again.
That's right.
If you can get over that feedback and start learning how they want things, how they like things, how they expect things, this goes back to the expectations.
Yeah.
What happens is then it gets easier the second time. It gets easier the third time, because you're starting to build this rapport with them that what their expectations are.
Right.
And what that does is that helps create a client for life.
Yes.
This is, we always profess the biggest thing for us, our growth strategy hasn't just been referrals. The referrals was our second biggest, reason for business, how we got business. The number one reason for reoccurring business is clients for life. Clients would leave one job and bring us along with them at the next, because
How many times has that happened?
so many that it's turned us into who we are, because again, they brought us along. We knew what they expected from us, so we just jumped in and just got to work.
Yeah.
Right? There was no fumbling, there was no feedback, discussion. We've already, cleared the communication, and we knew each other on the same level. So that's the real reason and why feedback is important. It's not just about that one job.
Yes.
Right? And I think people don't realize that, right?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for every single person that you make touch points with, to understand them and create a long-term customer. If they're like, wow, these guys get me, after the first time, the second time, you have a job with them and you see a pattern, you just give it to them that way,
you work
right?
with that pattern. Yeah.
This isn't about kissing ass.
Yeah.
This is about making your life easier and making them happier in the end, right?
Yeah. And this is easy for us. Well, not easy for us, but because we're empathetic,
Absolutely.
we understand this kind of stuff and can kind of read the room.
Yeah.
And adjust to, how each person, what their feedback is, kind of thing, right?
You need to.
You totally
right?
do. Yeah.
Absolutely you do, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So, we've got a small list of why designers, why it's so common for designers to get bad feedback.
Okay.
Okay. And then again, this is, we've all felt it, and boy, do we have a list of bad feedback. But some of the initial ideas of why we get bad feedback, of course, is, number one, feedback is based on personal preferences. Okay. Sometimes, the customer gives you personal preferences, their personal feelings, they add their own feelings towards this, which this is never a good, reason to get, feedback. This is always leads to bad feedback.
Yes.
Misaligned expectations. So this goes back to what they're expecting and what you're delivering. Okay. So sometimes they have their own unrealistic expectations on the design itself. Sometimes you're not living up, or you're not, delivering to their expectations.
Right.
So again, bad feedback causes, because again, a misalignment. So we have to understand that. Lack of technical understanding. Okay. So when somebody fucking tells you that they need small print on a billboard, they really don't know the whole fucking billboard and how that actually works. And then again, you see that this happens on digital all the time. They're asking for things that they don't make sense. They're not possible. They're not, UX friendly, or they're not part of the, you can't do it within the user interface.
Right.
Okay. They don't understand the technical limitations. And so they give you really shitty feedback. And then it forces you to either get frustrated and cringe and show them something really stupid, or you kind of almost have to go back and be like, dude, this really isn't technically possible. This isn't really what we do type idea. Right.
And something like that, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Something like that is what we would normally do, is take that existing idea that doesn't work and reimagine it.
Absolutely.
To the way
presented the way it should be.
The way it could be.
Yes.
The way this is how, well, in our experience, this is what would work.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So highly recommend.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Another way, of course, is lack of collaboration.
Well,
Sometimes, and I think I spoke about this a few episodes back, where it's just like I came up with a customer, I helped him work through, some logo concepts. He absolutely, I outright said, "Oh, dude, unfortunately, that color is really it's hard on an accessibility standard. Like, it's just bad on the list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with that."
Yeah.
And his response was, "Well, I like it." It's like, okay, well, you try to kind of put, and in the end, it's just like, dude, like, if you're not willing to collab, if you just want me to be a monkey and just do what you're telling, okay. But I mean, in that situation, that was bad feedback.
That's
And no
very
matter,
bad feedback.
again, lack of collaboration, which sucks, right? Of course, lack of communication. They don't maybe tell you what, they want properly, or maybe they're holding some stuff back, or they forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
I think lack of communication is probably responsible for 90% of shitty feedback.
And also too, in my experience, when somebody doesn't know what they want, as soon as they see it, it's not going to be what they want.
And we got talks about that later. That's for sure, right?
Exactly.
But no, you're right. Like, communication is huge, right? Because it leads to confusion, right? Misalignment. It's not their fault, because they just don't know how to communicate. And, in some ways, we probably didn't help them get to that point, right?
This is true.
And then last but not least, they just don't know how to give good feedback.
Right.
Okay. So it's not their fault if they're giving bad communication, or they're not able to communicate. Half the day I can't even communicate properly. And I like speaking these enigmatic riddles that you guys are supposed to understand, and then I start jumping around like a monkey. And then you guys get it.
That's right. Yeah. Put out 2 bananas, and then we'd understand. Oh, that's what he wants. Okay.
But it's true, right? There's one thing about not being able to give clear communication, but they just don't know how to give good feedback.
Right.
And this comes back to, it's our job to help them give good feedback, right? And we'll touch on that a little bit later, of course. But I mean, again, it's not always the client's fault. In fact, most of the time, it's not the client's fault.
This is true.
But man, when you have a week like we had with some of the shit we had, it's hilarious what they try to get by. So that's why what we've done is we've put together a list of the different types of customer feedback that we've gotten, okay?
Oh, I love it.
For example, and we've touched on this one already, we were talking about Mr. Personality, okay?
Love him.
Mr. Personality always feels they have to give their personal opinion on something, right? And this is the problem, because often that personal opinion can trump data, reason. It's dangerous, because if they're leading a project, their personal opinion can absolutely sabotage the project, and ultimately you're going to end up delivering something that's shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it or not, it's just not going to work.
And all because of, I like that color.
Yeah. But I like it. So, unfortunately, in situations like this, mine did work out in the end, thank God.
Yes.
It worked itself out,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yes.
But in situations like this, you have to very politely try to bring them back down to reality, right? You never slam them. You never hit them up 2, 3, 4 times, make them feel like they're an idiot for feeling this way, because this is their personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not thinking logically, right? And you have to almost bring them back to the original objectives that you were trying to achieve when you started.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all. Again, somebody tells you they like ducks, they want to incorporate a duck into a logo. You need to bring it back and be like, dude, we're, selling water softener salts. I don't know if a duck's the right thing here for this.
It's not going to work. You remember Hoist Gracie?
Yeah.
he was a small little guy, but he was the jiu-jitsu champion, or whatever, right?
Like snake. He strangled everybody.
Totally. Yeah. He would face these giant dudes.
Yes, he would.
And he would win, right?
Yep, he would.
But it was like a battle of attrition. Like he would just jab him down. You know what I mean? This is kind of what we do.
Absolutely right.
Somebody gives you, this is what I like.
Yep.
And over the course of the relationship with the client, you manage to convince them and steer them in the direction.
That's absolutely
do you know what I mean?
right.
Like,
No,
this
you're
is,
absolutely
and this
right.
is what we do.
This isn't always about brute force.
No, it's not.
Always
It's
about
not,
winning.
It's not about saying, look, you're wrong.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like, so, let me just guide you on a little trip.
I'm just gonna little tappy tap here, little tappity tap
Before
there.
you know it, they're pinned.
Yeah, right. And you got them.
And you won. You got the belt.
Sneak hold on them, choking them out.
But yeah, that's kind of what it's like, right? You just you just kind of have to guide them somewhat.
Especially
sometimes.
with
And
these
it takes
types of
a while
people, for
sometimes.
sure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
All right.
Feedback fire hose. So this is when somebody sprays you with so much information and way the hell too many variables, to try and consider, but doesn't actually tell you anything to do constructive. Okay? They think they're helping you by telling you all these giant, they think they're being detailed, but they're just confusing as fuck.
Yes.
So 3 sentences that I got, okay, within the past 2 weeks. Okay, you ready for this? This is legitimate. Sentence number 1. I want to capture the timeliness of Roman architecture while showing that we are always at the forefront of new technologies. Wow. But that's nothing. That's nothing compared to, have you thought about taking a step back from the design as it exists and think more about how to repurpose the content throughout more for synergy? Just like, what? Why are you? So what do you want me to do? Because you're asking. Yeah. It was confusing the 30th time I read it as well.
Jeez Louise. Who uses synergy?
Well, again, apparently fire hose feedback.
For more
and this
synergy.
last one, this should feel accessible, visually interesting, and spark engagement, but we don't want it to feel too complex or overwhelming. So what am I supposed to do with this? Like, that one is the best one. That one is worth $1 million. I'm not sure what I'm to do with this.
That is awesome.
This is exactly it. They give you so many damn variables, and it's confusing to read the first, second, fifth, 8th, 20th time.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't actually give you any clear direction on what to do.
That last one says nothing.
Nothing at all.
That's just a
the
bunch
first
of
2 you
buzzwords.
might be able to pull something out.
Yes.
That last one is nothing, dude.
Yes.
Nothing. So, answer to this? I just fucking ignore them because none of them are actionable items, which are telling us what to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay. And then they did call me out on one of them. I'm like, well, you never actually asked me to do anything.
Yeah.
You just told me to
You just told
consider
me-
it.
Yes.
And I considered it, and I didn't agree with it. So we continued on the way we were. Did you want us to act on something?
Yes.
So again, you're trying to get this clear
And that's
communication.
great. That's great because you're saying to them, look, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
Don't
Tell me what you want.
Tell me
Don't
what
fucking
you want.
Go all Spice Girls on us. Tell me
like-
what you want, what you really, really want.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld when Kramer was doing he was being a voice helper for the movies. If you want action movies, press 1. Why don't you just tell me what kind of movie you want?
Yes, that was
Oh,
funny. Oh my God.
All right. Number 3.
Oh.
Count Vagula. So this is that customer that uses these great buzzwords and statements like, I'd like it to be more sexy, or I'd like it to come to life. And it's just like, what? These are these huge, big, descriptive, subjective, jargon-filled, buzzworded type response. And they use this for feedback, but they actually don't know what the fuck it means. They're using these words.
Yes.
They're buzzy. They think it's cool.
Yep.
But what the hell? Like,
what is it?
what is sexy? What is more impactful? This is already looks like it's a fucking skateboard deck. Like, what else do you want? We have, and often I do find that this happens with older customers.
Yes.
The older clients who are trying to be maybe a little more hip. And I hate to say that. I was guilty of saying sexy or like, that's sexy.
Yeah. Yes.
I've commented on it. I've never been on the other side to ask for something. I've referred to things as sexy, but when you're coming up with a logo and they're like, make it sexy, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's pretty vague.
It's so,
vagula. That totally makes
that's
sense.
Exactly it,
but
right?
it's sexy to you and sexy to somebody else could be two different things, right?
And that's the answer. So the
Yes.
answer to this is you need to politely challenge them in what that word means to them.
That's right.
Because it's so subjective.
Right.
Right? What sexy means to this dude does not mean what it means to me.
That's right.
And we have to, otherwise you can remind them that it makes it very difficult to execute
That's
on
right.
that term.
Yes.
All right. So Count Vagula.
Vagula. I love that.
All right. Ready for this one?
Yeah, good.
The contradicting connoisseur. This is the person that every feedback they give you completely fucking contradicts itself. Right? We're talking about, and these are legit. Okay, these are legit things. Everything I'm giving you examples.
This is all real, people.
Is real.
There's no names have been changed to protect the innocent here.
We want an older, seasoned professional, but keep it casual. It's just like,
yes.
wow.
That's this week. Yes.
Make it more big city, but for a rural market. And it's just, how do you do
the
that?
hell is that?
Population 80. I don't know if that's going to work.
Skyscraper. Right in the middle.
I like Apple's website, but get rid of all the white space. I'm not paying for white space. Just that one is the one that really shocked me, because this person believes that they are the next Steve Jobs and they have his vision, his design sense, but they hate white space. So it's like, dude, I think you're so far from the truth.
Oh my God. Apple is, take away the white space, it's not Apple anymore.
Right.
That's what it was.
Kind of brought that to me.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, so the answer to this, of course, is to get them to challenge them politely and get them to give you examples of what they mean.
Right.
Because what they're asking you to provide is contradictory. And you can politely say that. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes I believe they just get carried away with their feedback, especially these people.
Yeah.
These are real things we heard this week. Okay, so past 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's funny. The old person looking more professional. Oh, yikes.
All right. Ready? Number 5.
Yep.
Naggy Nancy.
Oh,
Everybody hates Naggy Nancy. She always provides such unhelpful negative feedback. This is when you hear, I don't know why. I just don't like it. There's something about it that I just don't like, but I can't put my finger on it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, right?
I love that.
It just feels like you're both just working towards the same goal here.
Exactly.
I think we all got these persons in these Naggy Nancys in so many different variables, right?
So true.
I just don't like dealing with them because they're too negative.
They're so wishy-washy, and it's just like, again, there's no direction with, I don't know what it is. I don't like it. Like,
thanks.
well,
Good feedback.
Yeah, good feedback. Well, something about it is not working for you. What would that be? Help me out.
So the answer to this is it is important to hear this, as shitty as it is. Okay. But the thing is, without knowing why, we can't do anything about it.
That's right.
So sadly, we have to deconstruct what we've given them to find out what parts about it they don't like. So, and sometimes it's a long process. It's a pain in the ass process. But again, this is, the long-term goal, of course, is to help understand what they're thinking like. Help. And if all of a sudden you can help understand what makes Nancy Nagy so naggy, right? Well, then she might have potential to be happy Nancy one day, right?
You want Nancy to get out of her rut.
I want Nancy to get out of her rut. She's got a good budget, okay?
Come on, Nancy.
All right, number 6.
Yep.
Zoltar.
Oh,
Right? Everybody
yes.
loves Zoltar. Zoltar is the person that it's like, it's not really what I had in mind. They're not going to expect you to be a mind reader, okay? These are the clients that politely be like, well, you know what? I don't want to inhibit your creativity, so I'm not going to tell you what it is I want to see. I want to see what you can come up with. And it's like, wow. Yeah, you're giving a lot of pressure on the situation, right? Everybody's got this. They starts off good, and you know what? No matter what you show them, they are never gonna like it. They don't.
Yes.
They don't. You can show them award-winning shit.
Yep.
You can show them the best shit you've ever created.
Yep.
Ain't gonna work.
Yep.
Zoltar. The answer to deal with Zoltar is honestly, you need to flesh out that idea that they have first.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what, no matter if it's a small idea, a big idea, and you have to let them know if they have an idea they want us to explore.
Yeah.
Let us know, no matter how ridiculous it might sound, because until you address that,
Yeah.
you can address it with your own version, of course, but they need to see that that idea doesn't work.
Yes.
And this is a challenge. People get really, stuck up on this. Your job is to help people solve a problem,
Yes.
right? Help them get to this place. And if the problem is that they have this idea in their head, they can't get it out.
Yep.
You really need to explore that first and foremost,
Yes.
right? And you do kind of want to address that ahead of time, because God knows it can cost you a few more rounds of revisions if you don't.
This is
right?
true.
But the reality is you will not be able to, get past that unless you address their ideas first.
Yes.
And we had this like last year with this one logo. We went through 6 or 7 rounds because this guy had an idea and he kept on making us do these really stupid things. He loved it and he said, he goes, yours is pretty cool, but what if we did this?
Oh, no.
What if? And I was just like, dude, I don't know. And he's like, really? I'm like, you need to see it, don't you? I'm like, all right, I'm going to show you yours, but I'm also going to present mine and every time we went back, we did that. We did theirs on the left and ours on the right.
Right.
Just kind of like, okay, this is what you
see?
want.
This is what you're asked
This
for.
is what we're trying to do over here.
Yeah.
These are the objectives. Which ones? And he's like, yeah, you're right. In the end, fucking, he loves the logo.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
I saw him at an event in December.
Oh.
He went out of his way. He was like, you don't remember me. We were on Zoom, and you helped me through that. He goes, I love our logic. We're just about, to like totally like he dropped like $100,000 in a 6-month process in a small community
Nice.
for all this advertising material, and he was so pumped up.
Yeah.
But I had to get him through that.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it, right?
And
you need to
that's-
flesh it out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like some people, they don't really understand again
Yep.
what it is they're looking for. And
Yep.
you're right. Some people have to see a couple of versions
Exactly. You
of
gotta
what they
flesh it
think,
out. Yeah.
and then and that's a great way to do it. And it really kind of justifies what you do. And
And
you know
dude,
what I
that
mean?
guy kept coming back,
Yeah,
and
he was
he
just-
wanted more work from us and
Yep.
more work now, because again, we helped him overcome that, and he learns to fall in love with ours, our idea without any strings attached at that
Yes.
point, right? And he's like, nope, you know what, this was the right answer. I appreciate you, but he never would have felt that way,
Yeah.
until we got what was in his mind out,
Right.
right? So that's key.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what I thought that was? Sorry to interrupt
No.
again. I thought that was Battle of the Planets, Zoltar.
Oh,
It's Zoltan, or isn't it? What is it?
I thought Zoltar was one from Big Tom Hanks. Big.
Yeah. It's
Right,
same
the mind
thing.
reader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the guy with the big.
Yes,
hat.
that's
Yeah.
him. I think it was the same guy,
Who
isn't
was
it?
the villain on Battle of the Planets? Wasn't it Zoltan
I
or
don't
Zoltar?
remember. Jeez, I don't know. We just have it in there.
I know.
We can go
We'll
pick
have
it
to-
up in
I'll
the
have to
other
check
room and
that out.
just
That's
check.
what
But
that's what I thought. I was like, how are you going to pin that back to Battle of the
dude,
Planets?
we need to have a Battle of the Planets night. We need to bring some of the boys together and any of the
Yes.
girls and watch this.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
But anyway, that's really good.
yeah.
Zoltar.
All right,
All right.
ready? Number 7, microscopic man. Microscopic man is when they overthink every single element of the design. They take out a microscope and they're looking at this. They're looking at the font. They're looking at the weight. They're looking at the deeper meaning and how somebody from another city is going to look at this and interpret it. They can fucking look at the weather and how that's going to affect how it hits the logo in the certain type of day. These are the people who will literally overanalyze every single part of everything that you give them. And you know what? It's horrible, but this shit happens all the time.
A lot.
All the time,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And really, you need to actually nip this in the butt
Mm-hmm.
before you present the concept to them. Not after,
Right.
okay? So, and this is the challenge on this one. So the answer to this is, of course, the answer to this doesn't happen after they overanalyze everything, right?
Right.
It starts off before, right? Before you present them, right? You need to remind them what the objectives are, okay, of what you're trying to achieve. And you have to remind them, okay, that they're not to analyze or overanalyze what they're about to see. They're supposed to take it and really focus in on their initial first reaction.
Right.
Okay. And that's what they have to actually focus in on. Because again, it's like, the reality is, every customer who sees this logo, this print ad, this billboard, this packaging website, thereafter, they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, cool.
Yep.
Or shit.
Yeah.
And they're going to move on. They're not going to stop and overanalyze it. Same with that other, same with videos.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to watch a video and be like, whoa, let me rewind that again. I'm not sure I liked
Gotta
that
see that
first.
again.
Or right. Or it's like, wait, did you see that? Like halfway through the video, they showed an image in the background that just wasn't right. No, and people need to realize this, right?
Yeah.
People are not that in love with everything they're not so close to what you and the customer are working on, right? So they need to literally focus in on the initial reaction. You have to remind them this. Focus on the initial reaction that they get and they got from whatever it is you're presenting them, and start there.
Yeah.
Because again, it's human nature to overanalyze
It totally is.
when that's your job.
Oh, yeah.
To do it, right?
Yeah.
But again, if you do your job right, and you're presenting it not with opinions, but with logic and data and everything else that we're talking about, then you know what? It's hard for them to try to overanalyze it. Then they're just being picky or babies, right? They're being microscopic.
They're being microscopic. I think too, when you put the price tag on it, like these guys are paying a lot of money for what they're getting, right? So you there is a tendency to pick at it, right? Which is completely destructive to
absolutely it is.
Where there's got to be a bit of okay, we've seen 3 versions of this. This is the one I like.
Right.
Let's go with that.
Right.
With maybe minor tweaks once or twice.
Yep.
That's fine. But I mean, to sit on something and to pick it apart to redo it's really.
And again, it's like, you have to nip it before it even starts.
And you're absolutely right.
And you've got to present them and get them in the right mindset from the start, so they're thinking properly. And we'll address that a little bit later. Okay. Number 8, the sandwich dealer. Okay, and this is the feedback you get, from somebody that they serve you sandwich feedback. Right. They always start off and they'll be like, "Wow, you know what? This is great. I love it. But can you change
everything?
Fucking everything." Something completely different. But man, are we close? You so almost nailed it.
I really like the colors you chose.
It's just...
everything is shit, but the bread is the beauty part. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's great.
I don't know if these people, they like you and they're just trying to be polite. And in the middle there's some good feedback. But the reality is, realize they're being very nice to try to soften the beginning and the end. They don't want to offend. And change everything in the middle, all right?
Yes.
Whether this is one of those situations where you have to change everything or you can pick apart the feedback in the middle.
Yep.
The reality is, if these people are actually going the effort to be nice at the beginning and end, okay, I think that's appreciative enough that they're trying to be as respectful to what you're doing as possible. Right. So there can be a lot of good gems in these people, right?
I think that's probably the best person on this list.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'd rather have that than Mr.
Some of these other ones.
Yeah, Naggy Nancy.
Naggy Nancy. Oh, that Nancy. Come on home. Okay, ready? Number 9.
Okay.
7, 8, 9. Reality check.
Oh.
Okay. This isn't technically correct.
Oh,
often we hear this from engineers. Okay. So unfortunately, a lot of the people that you work with aren't going to be marketing people. Okay. They're not going to have the right marketing mindset. That's going to be a challenge. This reality check is when, someone who points out that the feedback that they're giving on the design that you're presenting isn't technically correct if you look at it in the reality of the real world. Okay. And it's like, they'll pick apart things and like, well, that's not exactly how it works. We need to add this and we need to add that. And we need to have like 3 more people in this picture. And it's just like, dude, you got to understand this is marketing. This is supposed to, embrace the feeling of, it's not supposed to be technically correct.
Yes.
Okay. The answer to this is when you're working with these type of people, you need to remind them that this is a marketing piece. It's not a technical document.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different animal altogether.
It's a different animal.
Yes.
And the people who are going to be receiving this or looking at it, right, aren't going to be the kind of people that are going to even get that kind of information.
Exactly.
And again, we just went through this, with somebody who, again, very smart guy, very brilliant, doesn't like white space, right? And just because he's so used to technical docs, he's not used to it. And it's just like, dude, unfortunately, this isn't for those people. These aren't for engineers.
Right.
This is for people, VPs, CEOs, right? We need to schmooze them. And if you don't have white space and you don't make it nice and easy to read and easy to follow and sexy, see, I said sexy. I said sexy. They're not going to want to read this.
Yes.
So again, remind them that this is a marketing doc. It's not a technical requirements doc.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Crazy.
That's good.
We get that one a lot.
Yeah, we do that. But on the flip side of that, there's a guy who works at our major, the biggest client. He worked for NASA, right? You remember?
Yep.
You know the guy I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He was an engineer, one of the smartest fucking guys
Ever
I've ever met. But he could dumb something down
Right.
so well that it would make sense.
That's what makes him genius.
And that's what makes this guy just a brilliant human being. It's like he gets it.
Yeah.
He understands that what his high level stuff isn't for
so
the regular
what?
folk.
You know what? It's because his wife is a graphic designer.
No.
Yep. You didn't know that?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and so I'm sure between the two of them, their relationship must be so interesting. And she's probably influenced to him a little bit more empathy. He's probably influenced to her a lot more tech.
Yes.
Right? Because again, I've spoken to her, and again, she's bright.
Yeah.
Like, this woman's good at what she does. So.
It's so funny because I was doing a deck and I saw his comments in the side and I was like, I'm using that.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely,
brilliant. What he said there. It's like, this is a fucking engineer saying this. And I'm taking his advice. And it worked.
It worked. And Eureka!
But yeah, that makes so much sense that his wife is a designer.
That probably helped.
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But often it's hard for these types of people to step out of their whole world, their mindset.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to bring them back and let them know that this is a marketing piece. There's a different objective here.
Right.
And often what I tell them, right, is I don't want to get so technical that it will answer somebody's question.
I love that.
I would rather it be just on that border where people are like, oh, I almost know what I want there.
Yes.
But I'm going to call them
Right.
to find out if it does do it or not. Think about this. If somebody who's looking at this piece can answer their own question, they're not going to reach out and call. They're going to be like, oh, no, can't do what I wanted to do.
That's right.
Or
Yeah,
no,
that's
that doesn't
not-
work with our systems.
Yep.
Well, the reality is there might be 5 other systems that this company might actually have that would work.
That could work. Yeah.
Right. But if you close the door on that one because you've given too much information and made that person
alienated.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely. It's done.
Yeah.
So
it's terrible. Yeah, you don't want that. Yeah, that is brilliant. You don't want to give it all away.
you don't.
that's-
Absolutely
that's
not.
so silly.
There's no need for a second date then.
Oh, he went there.
Okay, we'll quickly move on to the next one.
Sexy.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 10.
Oh, jeez.
The Ghost.
Ghost.
And not the Patrick Swayze kind,
Oh,
okay?
not
Okay.
The sexy kind.
Not the sexy kind.
We got a real theme going here.
Ooh, you referred to Patrick Swayze as sexy. Now, Ghost sexy or Roadhouse sexy?
Well,
Because in
both.
Roadhouse, he was pretty sexy.
Yeah, totally. And,
And
he's a
Ghost, he was a
good-looking
little pansy-like, I thought. But Roadhouse,
guy. The ladies love
he
him.
was a badass.
Yeah, he was a total badass.
Yes. All right, the Ghost. So this is pretty simple.
Yeah.
This is when you present the idea, you present the new job, and then there's no feedback at all. You got ghosted.
Oh, man,
Literally, this
that's
is like
bold.
literally that one, Tinder date that you went on, and the first date was great, and then after the next day you called,
Yeah.
no answer. The
Nothing.
second, the
Yeah.
third, no, right?
Nothing.
Exact same situation,
Wow.
but with the job. You actually finish that job, you send it out. and nothing back. And that's a little nerve wracking.
That is.
And that's happened to all of us. Happened to me.
Yeah.
The Tinder, not the Z Factor part. But
Yeah, no one ever stands Z Factor up. No one puts baby in the corner. Oh, here we go. We got all kinds of Patrick Swayze references.
Oh my God, that was brilliant.
Jesus. Woo.
Okay. I almost feel like there's a mic drop. So when it comes to the ghost, unfortunately, no news is not necessarily good news.
definitely.
However, I think often, more times than not, one of two things. You so miss the mark that they're just like so pissed off and they're disgusted, but that rarely happens.
Right.
You're a professional, you've engaged in a professional relationship, and the reality of that happening, is so, and in all fairness, that's never happened to us, right?
Yeah.
I've heard it happen to one or two people over the past 20 years, but it's so no in that case, right? Yeah. But the second reason is often they like you personally, but you didn't deliver to their expectations.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part, right? Not your fault.
Yep.
Maybe it wasn't clear up front. Maybe they were holding shit back.
Yep.
Maybe they weren't clear enough in the initial, brief or meetings or such. Yep. So usually this is a situation that they actually like you as a person and they liked working and getting to this point, but they don't want to harm or hurt that relationship.
Right.
So the answer to this is, obviously don't give up, right? Reach out. Obviously that first week, reach out twice. Second week, reach out once. Third week, once. And then, the fourth week, then you back off altogether, okay?
Right.
And in your responses, you remind them, number one, of the timeline that you both agreed to. Make it about them. Not about you.
Right.
Okay. Make it about, I want to help you get your timeline.
Yep.
So if there's changes to this, I'm here for you. Let me know. Right. And ultimately, you have to remind them that you won't take anything personal. Yep. Right. This is design work. And, if the design work delivered didn't meet up to their expectation, it's okay.
Yep.
This is still a new relationship and you'll do what it takes to make them happy.
Yeah.
Right. Now, of course, if they come back with some unrealistic request or something, that's a different story. Then they're just dirtbags, right?
Yeah.
But that's not often the case. Often they're not sure. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They're trying to figure out how they can make 90% of it work so that, to kind of spare you. And the reality is, it's a business. You don't need to worry about that. You need to be thicker than this.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for the client or the company, given that we're in the startup kind of community, that they pivot and need something completely different?
Absolutely, that happens,
so
right? And that has happened in short timelines.
That can happen on a dime, right?
And then all of a sudden,
experience.
but it goes back to the same thing. They feel like they don't want to hurt your feelings.
And they do, so they just completely.
So it's usually like they're trying to, not hurt your feelings or not get you angry. They like you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh shit.
It's like,
nobody wants to deliver bad news, right? Yes, exactly. So again, don't take it personal. And just light touches. Don't be a total, buffoon, jerk, whatever. And hopefully you got at least, that deposit up front. So even if they end up being jerks and they disappear, you've gotten enough up front that you're cool.
Yep.
All right.
You've done the half and half kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
Nice.
11. Number 11.
Oh, jeez.
This kind of sounds scary. The Death Squad.
Oh.
Sounds like a Tarantino movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Robert Rodriguez. This is when everybody and their cousin has a fucking opinion on your job, yet none of them have the authority or the final say or are the fucking boss. I hate this. I like it, but Joe wants to see it like this, or Jane wants also this added, and it's like all of a sudden, all these new names are coming in and feeding back on this project. That it's just it's just horrible.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, all these new people enter the picture. This is the beginning of the end. If you can't, and this is where the way to fix this is right from the start.
Yes.
Okay. Because honestly, it is common for maybe your lead to take it to one of the two people internally, and they might not tell you. But the thing is, they are your point of contact.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So the answer to this is, right from the start, you have to make sure you ask, who are the stakeholders that are responsible for this? Who's going to make the final decision on this, right? Right from the start. So if it's your contact, they'll be like, it's, I've got the final say, whatever. I'm going to show it to my boss, but I get the final. Yeah. Or are they just a minion in a whole, committee of so many people that drive you nuts? And honestly, like, oh my God, committees will kill a project.
Oh my God.
too many people in the project.
Yep.
And again, we've had this situation where people just keep on coming in at different stages. And it's like, dude, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you need to, from the beginning, make sure that you find out who the stakeholders are and have all the stakeholders present when you present that project and on the feedback, not this internal shuffle it around and get everybody's opinion, because it never works. Never works. Worst feedback in the world.
Exactly, because you put it to the minion, and then they do their changes. Then after the third revise, it's like, oh, I'm going to push it up to my superiors. It's like, well,
and the superiors then all of a sudden change it. All of a sudden, your 3 rounds of revision turn into 10.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
It's like, well, do that in the first place.
Exactly. And if you knew that from the start, you'd account for it. You'd maybe be like, look, general ideas at the beginning. Let's not worry about specifics. And you'd approach it differently.
You would go
right. You wouldn't put your whole heart into the first 3 concepts, only to have them bastardized for the next 10 weeks just across 20 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
never-ending project.
Yeah, never-ending project. Oh, that was just bad, dude. I don't even know why I went there.
I'm the drummer.
Why did I go there? No, not you. I don't even know why I went there.
No, it's good. It continues our movie theme.
Oh my God.
Although that didn't have Patrick Swayze in it.
No, it didn't. It had Lamar. Lamar was the singer.
Oh, Lamar was the singer.
That was the guy who actually gave me that song. I don't know why I knew that. That was a
holy high voice.
It was a dude.
Holy moly.
Yeah, sorry. It was a dude.
That's the 80s, though, right? Everybody had a high voice.
Everybody. Okay. And last, but not least, Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein is when the feedback you get mashes so many different fucking styles together, it literally turns into a Frankenstein. This is when they're like telling you, well, I was thinking more of a font like this, and I was thinking more of an image like that, and random. It's they're giving you these fonts, these classic fonts, but synthwave look, and this all in the and then with this 3D, what's it called, Memphis, and it's mashing this shit all together.
Jam around there, make it work.
They put all these random unconnected elements together that literally, it creates a Frankenstein of the final product. Okay, and unfortunately, the answer to this is you gotta be polite, but you got to speak up. Okay, and unfortunately, if you haven't developed that relation, and so this is the key with this one, okay, because I hate to say it, this one has, in the past, created a couple unique gems. Okay, it has.
Really?
It has.
Ooh.
So sometimes, because people's ignorance to design, their feedback is so outrageous that when you start putting it in to appease them, you're like, fuck, this actually works.
That's
something weird. I'm better than I thought. I made it work. But that's only once in a blue moon. Or if your name is Massimo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No.
Par for the course.
No. But the reality is, okay, obviously you got to speak up politely.
Yeah.
Okay, but until you develop that relationship with the customer where they will trust your design abilities, right? 100%. Right? You have to show them that, what you're proposing is right and what they're proposing is questionable.
Right.
Okay. So you may have to show it to them.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's about getting that, fleshing out that idea. But what happens is you do this once, twice, 3 times. Next thing you know, they're literally trusting you. And they're like, well, you're the expert. Yeah. I know my ideas are crazy.
It's out there. It was bizarre. But hey, you tried it and you tried to make it work. And that's the best part is that you're looking at that, you're doing this, you're like, this shouldn't work, but it's working.
Well,
you know what I mean? And
sometimes.
But I know, not all the time. But
the bigger,
you're just like,
the bigger message here, the bigger thing to take away from this one, though, although that's great when we do win those, when it's just like, wow, it worked.
Yeah, it's very rare.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the big thing is unfortunately, everybody's a fucking designer, but so few can design.
Can do it. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you have to almost have them get to that point where they trust you blindly and they know that your answer is the right one because you have shown them politely 3, 4, 5 times that your ideas are better than theirs.
Yep.
But if you outright slap it to them, they're not going to want to work with you.
That's right.
Right? And that's why this has to be one of those again, now nobody questions our shit, with any of our customers. We're delivering it to them. They're like, yeah, that's great. I love it.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
Seriously, who, other than the new people that we have yet to develop relationships with, does anybody come back and question this shit?
Hardly.
You have to get to that point with them. So when you have a Dr. Frankenstein come up, okay, this is those situations where you have to show them, the error of their ways politely and just guide them down this path. So you, in the end, will get to that place where you're the boss in this stuff. And then you are the trusted, credible source.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good.
The reality to all of these things, okay, is unfortunately, you have to realize that, it's not your client's job to provide good feedback. They're going to provide shitty feedback because they don't know how to provide feedback.
Right.
And this is where, unfortunately, even though we're constantly ragging on our customers and being like, fuck, can you believe this? And can you believe this? Even that shit that I have, I just, by ignoring it is probably not the best way to address it. But dude, I'm blown away by some of those comments I get. But the reality is it's our job. Okay. The blame falls on us.
Yeah.
If we just leave it at that, and we don't, address it, we don't fix it, we don't help them through these crazy ass, comments. The goal, again, like I have to remind you, it's not that first interaction, right? You don't want just that one job and then be gone with it. You want to develop long-term relationships with every single one of your clients.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is to start by making sure your communication is fucking impeccable with them, right?
Yep.
Like you have to make them know exactly what you need feedback on, and how to give feedback. What type of feedback is the most useful feedback when they're telling, and again, guide them. Tell them, don't be scared of this shit, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure, it's not just the one person, but who exactly is providing feedback? Is it going to be you? Is it also going to be your wife or your husband? Or who else is involved in this shit, right?
Yeah.
How do you want, like literally tell me feedback verbally now,
Yeah.
Send it to me on an email. Like, it's your job to be clear as freaking hell, right? Even feedback timelines, right? Be like, listen, in order to make your deadline, I need to know.
We need this by a certain
this
time.
day in order to make. It's your job, okay, to outline this. And if you don't, we can rag on these customers all the time. But if you constantly have a Dr. Frankenstein 2, 3, 5, 10 times, same customer, over and over and over again, the problem's not the customer. The problem is you.
Yeah. You have to set the boundaries.
Same with, the sandwich, same with every single one of these people, the Voltars of the world, right? Like, again, Zoltar.
Yeah.
It's the onus is on us.
Yeah,
It's not on the customer. So we can laugh at how ridiculous this is.
Yeah.
But the reality is if you are in charge of the final output, you're in charge of the final creative, then you need to take control of the creative, right? You need to control the feedback. And that's how we're going to finish this off. We're going to actually go on how we, go about getting feedback, the tips that we use to, to make sure that we actually get precise feedback from customers, right? And again, it sounds like a lot initially, and it's not. It's only like 7-8 different things, and they all kind of roll into each other.
They do, yeah.
After a while, you don't even have to go through these because they just become second nature.
Exactly.
Once you're on the same level with the customer, and more importantly, when they're on your level, it makes everything so much smoother.
Exactly. Yes. You can say, look, what about such and such? And they'll be like, yes, that's right. I forgot. You know what I mean? You
So true.
constantly remind them sometimes.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes you will remind them.
Dude, I threw out to a customer today. They wanted me to do something absolutely outrageous. And I was like, listen, I appreciate where you're coming with this. But, number one, white space is more than just aesthetics.
Yes.
Right? We actually use it to tell a story, to guide the eye for information. And number two, your brand won't allow us to try this crazy ass shit and get rid of the white space. Unfortunately, this is your brand. And we have to keep, I had to do that today, right?
We do that all the time.
It's polite. And then they're like, oh, fuck, I forgot about the brand.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah.
Hey, good, done. Otherwise, it would have been endless revision cycles on this bad boy.
But the funny thing with that is it's like the people that push against the brand.
Yep.
It's like, I could save you a shit ton of time in your day.
Hell yeah.
If you just trust me. And I'll do the brand stuff. You tell me the content, I will put it in there and you will be happy. You won't even have to worry about it.
Right?
But there's this constant push against a brand.
Absolutely.
I don't know why the kids do this nowadays.
Because everybody's a fucking designer, Sean.
Everybody's a fucking designer.
Everybody's a fucking
Exactly.
designer.
Man.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Number one for tips on getting good, precise feedback. Number one, always present your first concept. Always present the very, very, very first round of presentations, okay?
Right. Yep.
Make sure you present it, okay? The first round creative, because this way you control the narrative 100%.
Right.
You control the pace, you control, how people think, and that's key. Remember how Paul Rand actually made a big point about this. This was one of his first 4 principles, right? Always present. Okay, now things are a little bit more digital now. We don't have to always do to the same level that he was doing, but there is so much truth to this because you need to control and put the whole mindset in what you're delivering, okay? And it sounds ridiculous, but you do need to remind them of number 2, okay? You need to outline the objectives that you're both trying to achieve.
Right.
Okay? Like you told me this is what you want to achieve. Has this changed? No, it hasn't changed. Good. Make sure you guys both have a clear understanding of what it is you're trying to achieve, right? Because again, this always makes sure that the feedback is useful. It's not stupid. It's not personal.
Yes. It's not Frankenstein.
It's not Frankenstein. This ensures that the feedback that you get is always going to be focused and based on the objectives that you've outlined.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Number 3, remind the customer to focus on their initial reaction, okay? And not to overanalyze. And we talked about this before.
Yep.
I do that every single time to the first customer.
Yep.
Okay? Because you do it to the first customer, then when you're repitching to them, if they start to analyze, and you can politely be like, and even jokingly, whoa, are you overanalyzing?
Yeah,
we
hold
talked
up.
about this before.
Hold up.
You know the problem here. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
right, silly me. But there is so much value in capturing their initial reaction. And that's what they need to hone in on.
Exactly.
And that's what you need to hone in on, is that initial reaction. All right? So again, remind them to focus on their initial reaction.
Yeah.
Number 4, explain what you did and why you did it, but never, ever make it personal. Okay, we talked about this earlier.
That's right.
Never make it personal, okay? Base it on facts, base it on data, right? Never, ever make it on opinions or your feelings, because it's really, really, really hard for customers to give shitty feedback on hard facts, on data, right?
This is true.
Like, I mean, again, if you're putting things logically out there and it's just like, hey, 99% of the people in the world hate this.
Yeah.
They're kind of going to be an idiot if they're like, well, I like it.
I think it's great. Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
in that case, it's like they're just being arrogant asses at that
Exactly,
point, right?
yes.
So again, they're paying you for your expertise. They're not paying you for your fucking feelings.
Yeah.
You're not an interior decorator. You're not going to do their fucking living room in floral and paisley and whatever fucking thing that they
Yes.
want. They want you to help them solve a problem.
Yeah.
And again, don't base it on your personal feelings, because that's not what you do.
Yes.
Okay. Base it on the facts, the data that's out there, and your experience in this situation.
Yeah.
Very important.
Awesome.
Okay. Number 5, okay, encourage specific feedback. Okay. So, and that's crazy. So you can present it, you can give them all this, but then you have to tell them what exactly it is that you are looking for. Ask them to be as specific as possible when they're giving. Instead of just saying they don't like them, I don't like it. Ask them, say, tell me why you don't like it. What is it about it that doesn't meet our objectives?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. And bring it back. Make sure that they are being trained to give specific feedback. And honestly, nothing is better when customers are telling us, you know what I'm giving you, I needed it to be about A. You're giving me something that's more about B. Can
Yeah.
you bring it more this way? It's
We need it
clear.
Switch this way. Yeah.
Fucking great
That's
feedback,
awesome.
right? That's what you want,
Exactly.
right? So you need them to be as specific as possible with feedback, right? And that you have to train them for, unfortunately, right?
Yep.
Number 6, you need to create an action list. Okay. So you're not creating a list of revisions. You need to have actionable items that you need to act on. Okay. And it sounds silly, but it's such a huge difference, right? Make a list of all the revisions as actionable items. And then again, share it with the customer during the meeting and even after the meeting, right? Email it to them, create a list over that thing, right? When you present round 2 or the revised versions, you show them the list that you guys got from the previous meeting, because you have to remind them, this is what you told me to change, and this is the next product. Because if it's crap, if it's worse, then again, you're like, hey, you did this, not me, but we can always go back to my concept.
Right.
So again, you're not doing it to be a dick.
Nope.
Not at all. You just need to make sure you kind of, I don't know, you step up, you set it down. You're like, look, This is what you asked for.
this is-
exactly.
Yeah. This is what we did before. And you'll see X and Y
Yep.
and the differences.
Yeah.
And this is why this one works. Explain the reason behind that.
Mm-hmm,
You know, 9 times out of 10, you can kind of bring them around
Absolutely.
with that because
absolutely.
they see what they've done in this.
But again, you have to show them and remind them
But this
that
is it.
list
That's
and
it.
the final product.
That's it.
right.
Exactly.
Number 7, keep track of all the feedback and every single revision that you make. Make it a new fucking file.
Right.
Don't overwrite the existing file with, version 2, make it, overwrites version 1. I remember I hired somebody and she did that and I'm like, well, wait, no. You know what? I don't like this. Go back to the one that you showed me last time.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. I overwrote. I just saved over it. I'm like, what? You saved over it? And again, if you're doing that, fuck no.
Yeah.
New version 2, version 3, version 4, because so many times they might want you to explore something and they realize the error in their ways and you have to go back to a 1 or 2 versions. So
then you got to rebuild it all over.
then you got to rebuild it. If you so your fault, damn it.
Yeah, that's on
cloud
you.
storage is too cheap to be like stringent at this point. Okay, so again, ideally separate versions in a centralized place, whether it's in the same folder. And unfortunately, hey, you know what? If you have to name it properly, go visit our storage episode. We did a podcast all about storage, about naming revisions, file management. That's a great one. I really like that
We
one.
have a revisions folder, dude.
We do.
Yes,
we do.
That's
Absolutely,
how
we do.
important
it is.
that shit is.
This shit happens, and it's real. Okay,
Yes, it's
and
legit.
again, make sure you also keep track of how many revisions.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
because if you did your job right, you're going to have that ahead of time in the contract saying 3 revisions are included. So if you're up to revision 5, this is all scope change,
Cha-ching.
billable. This is something else. Okay, that wasn't accounted for.
That's right.
Okay, and last but not least, use software when it's available, when it's possible. Okay. So at the very, very, very least, something like Google Docs that you can share with them and they can keep track, share with them, hey, these are the actionable items. I don't mind email to do this with, but the problem is email threads can get big.
They're
People don't,
horrible.
They don't take them seriously.
Yes.
Right. When it's a collaborative document like on Google or something else where both parties can come see their list, right? They can start addressing them one at a time, right? And be like, yep, I asked for that. Yep. Dude, Mac, she's a star for this.
She's
You
a
should
rock star.
see what she
I
does.
know.
She does like 13, 14 page Excel docs with changes and this and that. And it's so overwhelming. The customers never question her because it's so organized.
detailed
they
and-
can't.
yeah.
Right. So again, you can take this to whatever level you want. That's not what this episode's about. But the reality is take software and at any chance you get to be collaborative with the customer so they are up to date at every point.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously I recommend the very first version always in person or over Zoom or presented so you can talk through the concepts. But when there's subsequent versions or things like this, there is software out there that can help.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, we use software, big advocate of software, right?
Big time.
Obviously at the very, very, okay, I've got a couple softwares I'm going to recommend, how we use them. Okay. And they're all going to be free. So, and again, this way, we're not sponsored because we're promoting free software. We're not making a dime on anything here.
That's right.
But I mean, first and foremost, we're fans of Dropbox. It just makes it easy. Like our whole company's on there. We're saying use Dropbox instead of, investing in a damn system, like a actual digital asset manager.
Right.
Not a damn system.
A damn system.
Damn it.
Take all the damn pictures you want. Yeah.
But I mean, again, the nice thing about Dropbox is you can create something, you can upload it to Dropbox, and you can share that file with a customer, and they can comment right in Dropbox on that image.
Yeah.
They can open that image in their browser, they can select their comment tool, they can put points on it, open it up, and put like a sticky note on there, similar to Acrobat, but in this case, it's all on Dropbox.
Yeah.
The nice thing is it's live. And it stores it with that one image.
Right.
Okay. So Dropbox, and I mean, again, it's free up until 1-2 gigabytes for
it really?
designers. Oh yeah.
That's
So there's still a good free option there. If it's videos that you're creating and sharing, Whipster.
Whipster. Yeah.
Whipster.
Whipster.
This is for video. Whipster. But without
Cool
the age.
whip.
Without the age. Keep it without the age. But Whipster for videos is amazing because again, it allows you at any point during the video to pause and put a point in comment anywhere in the video. So you can be like, I don't like this person. I don't like this video. I don't like this diagram, right? And again, if you're doing it right, it saves every version for you.
Yeah.
So again, Whipster, free video. gold.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome.
For websites, we use InVision still. Okay. InVision is fantastic for websites because it allows, number one, a little bit of interactive. You can create flat websites, nothing but like 5, 6, 8, 10 PNGs, link them to one another. You can link across the navigation. So people get this idea, this feel of an actual website, right? Without coding anything yet.
Yeah.
But then they can also do the same idea. Point on something, leave a comment, save it. And again, it's all there cataloged.
Right.
So they can see it and you can see it.
Yeah.
Right. So again, gold, it makes you look professional, but then it keeps everything nice and organized in a central place.
That's right.
Okay. And there's this one program that kind of sums it all up into one, and it's called markup.io. And this is one program that does all of this. Okay.
yeah,
So
I
it uses all these formats. It does the same thing, but it allows you to do logos. It tells you to do, web pages. It allows you to do videos. It puts, it combines them all into one platform. So in all theory, this is one platform that can do them all. And it's got a really good, free tier, amazing free tier that's worth checking out. Markup.io. Again, so many different formats. You'd be crazy not to at least consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we use some of these, some more than others.
Yep.
Okay, depending on what the ask is. But you're crazy not to take advantage of the software. You're crazy not to take advantage, just again, of the feedback that we're trying to, on the feedback that we're giving you for feedback.
Exactly. This is all gold. Like,
I don't know.
this will-
It's the feedback's tough.
feedback is hard, yes, because a lot of it, I think on especially in our experience on our clients' end, especially the big one, they don't have a lot of time.
No.
So they just kind of like, just do this. You know what I mean? Like they really kind of don't prioritize what we're supposed to do, where that's our kind of job, right?
It is absolutely.
But having said that, a lot of the clients will send a brief about what it is they want, and it's sometimes it's really good. It's very thorough.
Yep.
You can read through it and just, okay, this is what this is about.
Yeah.
And boom, you give them images and it works.
It's all done.
Yeah. But a lot of times, I think that's part of the problem. It's
part of the whole.
But you're right. The responsibility is with us to set boundaries and say, look, this is getting out of hand.
Well, even before it gets to that
Or
point, it's I'm not even setting, but creating those boundaries.
Yes.
And being like, I don't even know if you want to call them boundaries, but the reality is it's often never personal.
No, it's
but
not.
we
It's
always take it personal. So understanding this shit, right? Realize first and foremost, the problem is I don't want to say it's the designer's problem, but it is our problem.
It's technically ours, yes.
We need to, put that up front. We need to put that up there and be like, look, this is what I expect.
Yeah.
And again, you're always going to have shitty clients that will never care about how you expect. They want to do it their way.
Yeah.
But the reality is once they see it's to the detriment of their product.
Yes.
Hey, they're paying for this shit. Right. So you can fight me on this all you want.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the shitty product. Not me.
Yeah.
I'll have the shitty experience.
Yeah.
But you'll have the shitty product. And I mean, again, in that sense, I can walk away, but you're gonna be left with a shitty product that you paid for, fucker. So the reality is, that has to be, that communication has to be open. It has to be, honest.
Yeah.
It has to be like no holds barred.
Yep.
In all fairness.
Yeah.
And but you have to set that. It's up to you to set that. It's just like, you can let your kids get away with so much. You can let your partner get away with so much, right? You have to be able to be, completely upfront and just let people know this is how far you can push it.
That's
but this is what I expect.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be mutually beneficial, then we both have to collaborate on this.
Yes, exactly.
That sounds really like life heavy there.
That
right?
is. That's some.
Jeez.
That's some 2 scotch deep.
Ooh, that was horrible. You can tell I got kids on that one, don't you? Woo.
That's great, though. It's true. You're absolutely right. That is reality.
Again, it's our job, and so many times, and we had fun with this, and we had fun with bitching about the different types of customers and feedback. But the reality is, it's up to us. What we do with it the first time, the second time, the third time, and if you can prevent it, then fucking prevent it.
This is exactly it. But it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't prevent an uncomfortable conversation with, little titles on a billboard.
You mean terms and conditions on a billboard?
On a billboard.
We
exactly.
need legal Wait, what did they ask for?
Yeah, what
fine
was it?
Print.
Fine
It was
print. That's what it
fine
was.
print.
Yeah, fine print on a
On a
billboard.
billboard.
That's an uncomfortable conversation
gosh.
that we are going to have.
No, we didn't. We just laughed and
just-
be like,
it's just like-
whatever. There's some legal reason we had to put this. Nobody's ever asked for it. Nobody probably ever will.
No one will.
But you guys wanted it.
Yes.
And we've done 1 or 2 or 100 billboards in our time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's the oddest thing I've ever heard.
I know, right? Can you imagine driving by, slamming on the brakes? Wait. Did you see that?
Only available
There was
in
a
where?
catch.
Smash.
There was a catch.
There was a catch.
Fuck. All right.
Oh my God, that was
well,
awesome.
I think that was enough for tonight.
that was really
I mean,
good.
again, I hope you guys all got something out of this feedback episode.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a long one, but I hope that there was some actually really good information on here that you guys can take with you. By all means, leave us some feedback on what you thought on this episode. Let us know clearly and exactly what you liked and what you didn't like on this episode.
Be specific.
Be specific. And if there's any other specific types that you want to address, you let us know.
That's right. We'll get right back to you.
We'll get right back to you on that, and we'll make sure the second podcast will be much better.
Will be much better. That V2.
V2.
Will be much better.
Hit us up on Instagram by all means. Catch us up on YouTube. I mean, our YouTube is doing great. We're a little bit behind on trying to actually get some YouTube specific content, but we're getting there. We got 1 or 2. We're testing the water. It's all right.
Nice.
It's good. It's good. And again, you know what? Hit us up. Don't be scared to hit us up on our website. We've had some people reach out with some questions. Maybe we're considering on doing an Ask Us Anything like Q&A type stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Well, because I think so. And I mean, we're getting a lot of questions, and sometimes we address them on topics like this. So if there is specific questions like, hey, AMA, let's do it up.
Yeah.
Happy to answer any kind of questions.
that would
I'm
be
doing
great.
it all the time on Instagram anyway. And on not Facebook. I'm not doing it on Facebook, but I am doing it on our website. And sometimes I'll even email people back on that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's
gets a little
awesome.
busy sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that almost covers it up, right?
It's great.
And leave us a happy review, please.
Yes.
Because again, those reviews make a difference.
Oh, that one that you sent me.
I sent you an awesome review,
that was
didn't you?
So nice.
Oh my God.
She was so sweet.
She was so awesome. And again, we're very happy when people fangirl over us. So you no need to go any further than what you already have.
Yeah.
Because that was fucking amazing.
That was great.
Yeah, that was
geez.
really cool.
Really nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Glad we can help anybody.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
With that being said,
Yes.
my name's Massimo.
My name is Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
Peace.